Growing up in a small community, it is difficult not to be influenced by the world around you. And that world for me was agriculture. We grew up outside of town, surrounded by cattle, horses, alfalfa fields, and almond orchards as far as I could see. Once we were 5, Mom signed us up for the local 4-H program. Throughout 4-H, I showed and raised market goats and Nigerian dwarfs with my brother Dominic. While in high school, I continued to show and raise goats through my sophomore year, and then I transitioned to market lambs. I was also actively involved in the chapter, serving once as historian, vice president, and president. I enrolled in courses about California agriculture, animal science, plant science, and agribusiness. My first experience in production agriculture was at Shasta College in Redding. I learned the ins and outs of living and working on a farm. One main sustainable practice used on the Shasta College farm was our dual-purpose goats. They were used for reproduction, but their second purpose was to control noxious plants around the farm and campus. Invasive weeds are those non-native to North America. Invasive weeds are spreading at 4,600 acres a day in the western United States alone. Here in Northern California, the yellow star thistle has posed a huge threat, increasing from 1 million to 10 million acres since 1981. About 8.5 million acres, or 5% of federal land, is classified as having serious weed problems. The BLM recognizes noxious and invasive weed species as a huge problem affecting California's public health, agriculture, recreation, wildlife, and property. Though many use chemical herbicides or controlled burns to eradicate noxious weeds, my family does it differently. My cousins Tim and his wife Linda are the owners and operators of We Rent Goats based out of Wilder, Idaho. Tim grew up on a 3,500-acre cattle ranch outside of Elk Creek, California. He attended Shasta College in Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, where he earned his AA and BS in agribusiness. It wasn't until after college that Tim purchased his first 25 does from Eastern Oregon and then rented them out throughout Northern California. Tim bought 200 goats the next year and decided to move his operation back to Idaho in 2009 after meeting his wife Linda. As a weed abatement company, their goal is to help restore and protect your property. These goats are used to remove noxious weeds, non-native weeds, and create fire barriers around homes, private properties, and public land. They work with the environment and not against it. So why goats? They are natural-born weed eaters. Goats, if managed properly, will choose weeds or woody plants 85% of the time, keeping grasses and clovers for other livestock. This practice gives native grasses a chance to grow without being choked out by unwanted weeds. When goats eat, they eat from top to bottom, consuming everything, including the seeds, which makes them unviable once passed through a goat's digestive system. Eradicating weeds is not a fast process. It usually takes between 3 and 5 years to gain control of ground that has been invaded by noxious weeds, followed by the management of the landowners. With the times changing, choosing goats to clear land of noxious weeds and brush is a sustainable business practice. Tim and Linda, along with their boys Cody and Ty, have dedicated their lives to offering this option of natural weed control, and see it as an economical and sustainable choice communities can implement to protect their acreage.